Well, hello, folks. My camera seems to not be deciding on how to focus. It's like it's got a heartbeat. That's very weird. Maybe if I give it something to focus on, here we go. All right, so this piece here is the cover to the new um, White People's Quarterly, and I'm actually going to be selling um, some of my works. So if you're interested in purchasing some of my paintings, you can catch me at American Zarathustra at Proton Mail. You can also find me at my website, AmericanZarathustra.com, and there's a contact form there. Um, so these are some pieces you can tell by my hand, like say the scale of how large it is. This piece also appears in the White People's Quarterly. This, interestingly, is the back cover of the White People's Quarterly that's coming out in April. The only difference, though, is that that figure, his whole body is white, and this figure, I have the flesh tone painted in on it. So I suppose I'm thinking through what I want to do with this, or if it's ready to sell. This here is called Western Kind Reborn, and you can see a number of themes in it there. I'll just themes of rebirth, Western civilization are clear in the pieces here. Um, I'm going to be producing a lot more of this kind of work. I suppose you would call it Imperium art. So anyway, but today it's weird. On my screen, everything seems backwards. I don't know if that's. I guess this is odd. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, there it is. I'll set this aside. And like I said, please contact me through AmericanZarathustra.com or, excuse me, at American Zarathustra at protonmail.com. So I guess I'll put the links down below. Going to do a cozy painting stream today, just letting you look over my shoulder, and I'm going to put on some Chopin's Nocturnes, create a nice relaxing mood. Let me know in the chat if that's not loud enough or too loud, if you would. That'd be nice. But anyway, today I've got to concentrate on working up these areas here. This is a painting commission I've been doing. It's a replication of a famous painting where Rome is sacking the temple at Jerusalem. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna chill. I'll check the what do you call it? The chat periodically if anybody's there or wants to say hi. And otherwise, I'm just gonna focus on my work and hope you guys enjoy a relaxing Saturday afternoon or morning. Okay. Typical artist studio, so messy. It's a good question. Like, why are artists so messy and unorganized? Well, we're not unorganized. I know where my stuff is and what I need. Um, so it just looks unorganized to the common eye, I suppose. So where do we begin here? Let's see. I have to get some darker tones in. I'm working with gouache on this. Gouache is a kind of a, I guess you could call it an expensive watercolor. It has a little more body to it. You know, some watercolors are just so thin that you can't get any opacity. You know, it's not good. But, let's see what we got here. I'm looking, you can't see it off screen. I'm looking at the painting itself to help me figure out what it is that I'm doing here. We need a little bit of this. This painting is going to be a pretty monumental effort. It's quite large, and there's just a lot of these sort of small details that require a lot of attention. I've talked about this in my other streams that, you know, you're never going to get a sort of a photo duplication, a photorealistic duplication of a piece like this. If you wanted that, you could just simply buy one at like a poster store, you know. But a handcrafted painting, I don't know, that's just, I feel like there's really something unique and precious about that. So people see the value in the time and effort that it takes to put into something like this. And events in history of this kind really, really need to be put into painting, something that has a kind of, I don't know, a historicity about it, or something that lasts long, an archival medium. Of course, this is, you know, there's all kinds of archival mediums, but there's just something about painting that's truly Western. Some of the things that or one of the things I love about watercolor is how you can layer it, and it just has a quite a beautiful organic look to it. It's very enjoyable. It seems to lend itself really well to, oh, how do I say this? To things like cloth and hair and trees and things that have a more of an organic texture to them. I'll put it that way. The painting in itself is sort of overwhelming to the eye. you really need to kind of sit and enjoy these pieces, take time and develop a relationship with the art. When I go to a museum, an art museum, I will. Oh, I can't tell you. It's in a way I feel like, for me anyway, art museums are like churches. They are kind of a time to meditate and commune with beauty, and these historic tales, works of you know important developments in civilization. Granted, not all art is good, and I think we all know that. But depending on the kind of art, that's my experience of it. Okay. Let's see if anybody is here. Okay, Port Film Co-op. Nice to see you, my buddy from down under. Okay, Pure Nomad, Nationalist Bob Ross. Right on, brother. All I need is the afro. If we do nothing, nice to have you here. Okay. So let's see where we're gonna go with this. So like I said, off screen, I'm looking at the artwork to develop this, It's quite a difficult painting to do, to be honest. There's the architecture in the background. It's just a lot of work that goes into this. Put some happy little Roman soldiers in here. Yeah, I'll have to do like a Bob Ross spoof painting stream. There was this other guy who had a painting show when I was a kid. He was a German, had a really strong German accent, and it was very bold, quite different from Bob Ross. Had a more energetic and kind of a bold approach to painting. It was still the same kind of painting, which that, I guess I'm going to say that kind of painting is, yeah, sort of like mall art, I guess, like you learn a couple techniques and then you just repeat them over and over in these kind of, how do I say this? Like, you're just kind of rearranging different ingredients over and over. Mountains, trees, sky. It's meant for, like, what do you call it? Amateur painters who, Sunday painters, people who enjoy the craft and the experience of painting, but don't necessarily have anything to say, which to me, if you're not saying anything or you're not contributing to, Western civilization in some way that I think is useful, it doesn't always have to be positive, it could be a critique. But, if you're not doing that, you're really more of a craftsman, rather than an artist, And I don't know, people have a chip on their shoulder about that. They think that's being snobby, and it's not. There's a difference between, I don't know, let's say real Italian food and pizza. Like you don't, if I had a chance to go to Italy, oh man, I would have a wonderful time trying out the different foods, etc. And I'm sure they're phenomenal, right? You just can't compare these things. So it's just an important distinction you have to make. There's nothing snobby about it. So, recently I had somebody tell me that I'm just a liberal trapped in a conservative. And I thought, whoa, that was a pretty strong thing to say to me. Um, and I had time to contemplate, like, well, why would you say that? And it, at the time, I had said something, I don't know, condescending, basically, to the people. I mean, not directly to anybody in an offensive manner, but in such a way as to show, like, I really don't want to hang out with a certain group of people because they're just not very bright. And having being the smartest person in the room doesn't make you a liberal. I would say that's quite the opposite. But that's another topic, I guess. Okay. All right. What's interesting with this image is how, I don't know, sort of how the gray and the blue work together to show space and distance. Things that recede in space become they have what we call atmospheric perspective. It's sort of dimmer, that it's almost as if there's a humidity in the air that obscures colors, takes the hue down, in intensity. And that's kind of like artist talk, I mean, it's not something I think the average person thinks about. But when you're making paintings, you're not just slopping color and pigments and water, oil on a canvas of some kind. You're delicately rendering different tonal values. And then when you put these tonal values together against each other on like so, then they read as space into the eye, to the human eye. So you have to change the light intensity and the color intensity. With drawing, say black and white, charcoal drawing, this kind of thing, all you have is tones of gray, black and white. And that's fine. The thing is, it's simple compared to color. When you're using color, you have that and the added dimension of color, so, and hue, value, these things. So I guess it's kind of my art teachers coming out here a bit. Should I just talk about football instead? It was a bit snarky. That's what I mean about condescending. I got to work on that. So this Sunday, join me with Nullis on Conversations with the Wind on White Art Collective D Live. That's Sunday at 8 o'clock this weekend. It's going to be a really good show. Honestly, all of his shows are good. There's something in there for everyone. I'm really impressed with the amount of effort, and value that he brings. It's quite good. So I'm quite lucky to be a part of it. All right, let me check the chat if there's anything in here. Nope, just chilling. Nice, beautiful work. Thank you, Veli Viljami. Nice to meet you. Where are you from, Veli? Would be nice to know. Okay, moving on. Finland, wonderful, wonderful. I'm good friends with Kai Moros, one of your countrymen, and working on a book, The Illustrated Speeches of Kai Moros. So that's going to take time to do. Tell you what, I'll show you a little bit of artwork from it right now. Let me go grab my drawing pad. I'll be back in 1 second. Mm. So this is a piece I'm working on. There was just a Kai Moros interview published like a couple days ago. Anyway, I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole thing yet, so I'll have to check that out. But this is specifically about England. So you can tell by the what do you call it, the shield here. Um, this kind of composition is based on classic etchings like Dante's Inferno, if anyone's familiar with that. And you can see there's this hideous sort of cloud filled with all these evil faces kind of approaching the cliff there of England. And this angel is giving a sword and shield to an Englishman. His family is sort of behind him there. You can kind of see the light source. This isn't finished, obviously. He was on the other day. Great interview. Cool. Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. I think he's one of the most important people in our movement. More realism. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm anyway, so just giving you guys a sneak peek at the illustrated uh, speeches of Kai Moros. This is another piece that this is more of a design. It's too sloppy. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but it's kind of a maybe that'll help. My camera's focus gets a little weird. Anyway, okay. So yeah, sometimes I just do these kind of sloppy sketches to just get ideas out, but I'll probably incorporate that later somehow into something else. Yeah, the camera's being a little quirky, huh? Right. All right, getting back to work here, my friends. How long does these usually take? Well, everyone's different. This piece in front of me is quite large. This is only about maybe a third of it, what you can see on camera. Um, this one's been taking weeks because I bit off more than I can chew with this project. I have a lot of other projects and jobs. I just did the cover for the the White People's Press, White People's Quarterly. So, but yeah, that's why I'm focusing on this now, trying to get it done. Okay. I'll tell you what. Baller Sack is asking, are there any galleries in real meat space for our kind types? I'm not sure I understand. Doing an MFA and is pumped, and so much BS. Academia is dead, especially in the arts, very much. I strongly urge you to watch my show, Imperium Art. I would say that's one of the few, or I mean, to my knowledge, I don't know anybody who's doing any kind of art teaching or theory on art, Western art, in such a way as to be moralizing to our people and to respect our history and traditions. So check out my YouTube show, and we'll see you on the internets there. It's nice to have original art to sell, but do you think the future of comics is digital? Doodle Squatch. Tough question, man. That question's been around for a while. Um, I do know people that they like digital comics. I think it's just sort of a preference in terms of like what kind of media people prefer to use. And I just can't see that it's going to all go digital. I mean, it's weird how, like, okay, years ago you had, say, VHS, and then they switched over to, say, DVD, and you you had to throw out your VHS player, because the industry moved totally over to DVD. So if for some reason the industry moves totally over to digital, then print comics. I don't know. I mean, that could. I don't believe that they're ever going to disappear. I don't think it's that kind of a situation. Um, but we'll see. Meet space. Meet space is just in real life, not just internet circles. Okay, I never heard that expression. So yeah, IRL, right? And the question is, are there any galleries? Well, yeah, I mean, there's galleries all over the place. Um, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was, friends with the Proud Boys in my area, and we went to a local art museum, and I just kind of gave them like a little bit of a tour because, having somebody who knows what they're talking about makes it more enjoyable. And art museums have what's called docents, and these are people, it's their job to basically walk you around and talk through the paintings, the history, the artists. A lot of museums will have sort of like headphones that you wear, and you can walk through a show and get a sense of what it all means. Joshua Lindberg, good to see you, man. I hope you're going to join me on Imperium Art. Budgie Burger, are you familiar with a guy called Patriart? No, please send me a link to his work. I think he's a digital photographer, beautiful work. Yeah, man, hook me up, Let's get our community connected, right? All right, I'm gonna focus a bit on this, and I'll come back to the chat periodically. I think this music's getting a little overbearing. Let me move on a little bit. Maybe we'll do some lute music. No, it's not. I hate commercials. I had to turn that off. So I'm going to play some lute music by Sylvius Leopold Weiss. Um, and there you go. So just waiting for commercials, and away we go. There's something about this music I just find so peaceful. Patriart is a cool name. Yeah, it was good concept. That's kind of one of the cool things about people in our sphere is the neat names that they come up with. And it's like, oh, cool. It's just almost a culture in itself. Okay. of museums, but would be amazing to find contemporary art galleries owned by people in our circles. Most contemporary galleries tend to be owned by types that don't support our views. Correct. Well, that's the whole thing. We have to build our own world. I think that our future depends on us making our own world, our own networks, our own economies, everything. We have to just walk away from everything that they are and that they do that's demoralizing to us. Don't, one of the things that's interesting, learn about koshercertified.com. What it is it's actually an app that you can put on your phone, and you can see products in stores that are kosher certified. And a percentage of that goes to like some organization that is against us. So we're paying for our own destruction. By this devious little technique of making food quote kosher certified. We don't need our food kosher certified. That's not our culture. That's not our religion. That's not our way. And then for somebody to say, oh, well, we have to set up a committee to certify these foods. And oh, by the way, a little bit of that money is going to go into our pockets. You know, you can learn from your enemies. You can learn, okay, well, yeah, maybe we should, let's say, everybody in our sphere create one product per person, and you put it out, and a little portion of that all goes into one fund, for white well-being. And then, if there's somebody who gets doxxed or, is in trouble in some way or other, we have our own fund that we can turn to help us. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of thinking we need to be having. It's tough, I know, whatever, but I don't know. It drives me nuts because I feel like we need less sort of shit posting and more engagement in we have to act like a minority, basically. I know that hurts to hear that, and it hurts to say that, but I don't know. I don't think I need to explain myself. I have a meeting later today with I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know how private it is or not, but with an organization you all know and love, and we're going to be talking about marketing. And so the discussion has come up about, well, how far do we want to go with this, like products, branding, all this other stuff, and I'm like, let's go all the freaking way. um, so I'm excited to at least be engaged in I guess you could call it, like, economic activism. Think of it that way, right? So I don't know if this music's too loud and you can't hear what I'm saying, but just quick check what you guys are talking about. Oh, no, we'll be feeding them essentially from a breakaway civilization. Yeah, breakaway civilization, correct. Thanks, good advice. Yeah. All right, well, hello to the 12 people watching. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this kind of streaming. I'm actually going to be taking art commissions. So if somebody wants to, I really have to get this done and get a couple things squared, but essentially Mondays I'm going to be doing live art commissions. So if you want some kind of illustration work done, or a meme, or a caricature, a portrait, a superhero, a character design for an RPG game, anything and everything basically that I can illustrate, I'll do it live for you. So, and then we'll figure out the cost, we'll figure out how to get you the artwork. But this is a new business model that I'm going to be doing in April. So what do you think of that? What are your thoughts on that? All right, check back with you guys. Welcome to Art of Bach or Bach. I don't know how to pronounce that. Looks great, Don. Watercolors are more natural because nature isn't very glossy, oils and acrylic. Look forward to convos with the wind. Man, it's going to be good this Sunday. Everybody has to come. What Art Collective on D Live, 8 o'clock, Conversations with the Wind. This is, it's about heroism, talking about the topic of being a hero. What is a hero? This is interesting because in some way this relates to that topic. How about nice to meet you, Len Graham. How about a multi-artist collaboration where 5 or 6 artists work on a canvas board, pass it on from artist to artist, and auction it off? Proceeds go to appreciate cost. Very, very good. That's a freaking great idea. This is the kind of idea that I'd like to do for my live stream show on Mondays in April. Obviously, there would have to be some way to do it, and most likely it would be digital in some way. Like I could probably lay the groundwork and then maybe hand it off, like send it to say Jayla Dark. She can send it to Skinless Frank. He can send it to the next. We'll see how many people we can get. It seems to me like we don't have a lot of visual artists in our sphere, unfortunately. But Flash Gorgon I'm a huge fan. He's been doing really good work lately. If anybody, you should check out Flash Gorgon, Gorgon. Rise of the Art Right. So look that up. And have a little tea break. All right, what do we got? Appropriate, yeah. What is this painting of? Hi, Gen Z. There's, I don't have the name off the top of my head, but it's a painting of a historic battle where Rome sacked the temple at Jerusalem. This is a duplication of the original, an original painting done in like the 18th century. I have a client or a patron who commissioned me to do this painting. So, and I kind of, maybe I can see if I can look up the name of it or a link and put it in the chat real fast so you guys can see the original. Just give me a second. Francesco Hayez, Destruction of the Temple of Jerusalem. And we'll find an image or some kind of a link to pop in the chat here. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so when you see the painting, you may even know it actually. Let's I'll pop it in the chat for you here. You guys can go have a quick look. And then once you see the scale of the painting and the theme, you'll get it. Oh, very cool. Very. Yeah, please check out the link and that'll give you a little more appreciation. This is a close-up of a section of that painting. It's not the whole painting itself. There's much more, and I have like other videos on it as well. So if you're looking at the link, tell me what you think of the painting in the chat. Actually, if you go to that link, like I said, and scroll, it's got a kind of like a plus button where you can zoom in on it and such. So that'll give you an idea of like what I'm coping with in terms of that. Looks epic. How much are you selling this one for? Haha. Well, a lot of money. I'll just tell you that it's a lot of money. This is no small commission. I feel super blessed to meet and become friends with my patron. Um, I'll say that I charge by the hour, and as you can imagine, this piece is going to take a lot of time. So if you do want to commission a piece, contact me at americanzarathustra.com. I'll actually put my Proton mail in here for you. Okay, so anybody can reach out to me if you know somebody who wants to commission a piece. That you don't have to commission a giant piece worth, you know, a ton of money. You can do something a little more modest if you like. I'm not. We'll work it out. Essentially, we'll work it out. Okay. I've been a freelance artist for 20 years. I wasn't as successful at it as I am now. I do it. I could do it full time, but I have a little part-time gig that I use for, uh, yeah, 401k, health insurance, that kind of stuff, right? But I don't know. Who knows? At some point, maybe I will go straight on full time doing this. Honestly, that is the dream. That's the dream or the goal. Um, but yeah, it's been wonderful. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I did the graphic for the after party for Jason Kuna's No White Guilt show. If you go to my website and you look at my portfolio, you can see that among other things. Tell you what, I'll put my portfolio link in the chat as well. Okay, hang tight. Mm. So you guys can snoop around at my portfolio, see my other artworks. Almost all of them, not all of them, but most of them were commissioned by clients, people who needed work, a book cover. You can see I did Josh Neal's book cover for, you just go see it, take a look at it. There's a friend of mine who does it's kind of a training surface for police and intelligence and these kind of things. It's you can see his logos on there. Um, just all kinds of cool stuff on there. So go check it out. Oops. Okay. You guys still see okay? Looks very nice. Love the heavy contrast. Yeah, that's a very, very good point that you're making there because contrast, I'm a big fan of contrast like that. That's an important part of an artwork to me. You have to have contrast. It makes for some, well, for starters, it's just important to create the shape of things, right? The illusion of space. But also, It's flavorful for the eye, if you will. Someone you can quote me on that. Flavorful for the eye. Um, yeah. So anyway, I'll get focused again. Once I get talking, then I lose my focus. So I gotta get back to work here. And thank you so much for joining me, guys. There's 12 people now, and it's kind of you. Like I say, I'll be doing this regularly on Mondays. What would be a good time for me to do this on Mondays? But I'm thinking like doing it for a couple hours actually, but like every Monday in April. What do you think would be a good time? I do want um, my European audience to be able to enjoy it. So I'm trying to find a time that is good for both um, uh, North American and European audiences. Interesting thing on the topic of contrast. In some way, a painting is just it's like a giant puzzle with all these different pieces that kind of fit together, and it's the contrast between the different shapes in a painting that make it fall together in a meaningful way visually. pretty interesting. Okay. How many years have I been painting? Hello, Tonda or Tanda. It's nice to meet you. Thanks for joining. And also, Caveman, thanks for joining as well. So, Tonda, how many years have I been painting? Well, I don't like to talk about my age, and the reason why is because I find that people have, I don't know how to say this, they kind of put you in a bit of a box, and I know I'm not answering your question, but like I've been doing art pretty much my whole life. I'll just put it that way. As a kid, yeah, all kids like to draw. It's just a kind of a natural thing, and it's even in different cultures around the world. I think there's just something innate in children to draw and make art, make things. They're playful, imaginative, and I just never stopped. But I'll tell you, I have an uncle who went to a place called Pratt University in New York City. It's an art college, kind of a well-known art college. And my mom, knowing that, just she would, she thought like, oh, that we have another artist in the family. You're like the uncle, blah blah blah. And in her mind, she kind of got it set that I'm an artist. And I think when your parents think you're an artist and they tell you you're an artist as a kid, well, you kind of grow up going like, yeah, I'm an artist, but you're not. You're a kid who likes to draw, and the deal of it is that you have to put the work in to learn the craft. And then the craft of painting, for example, is just it's, how do I say, it's like a language. So then after that, it just becomes about, well, what is it you want to say? As we listen to this music here, for example, there's, it's not quote saying something per se in it, like poetry or literature, but maybe it's saying like Western civilization. It's there's a tradition there. There's beauty, aesthetics. That's what it's saying. Um, it's not until you really come into your own voice that you're a real artist per se, and that's fine in the sense that like people who are studying art and growing, like college students, that kind of thing, they like to say, "Oh, I'm an artist," like you're an art student, keep going, keep going. But it's like saying I'm an adult, you know, you're not really an adult until you do certain kinds of things that, and you're mature. You have to hit a certain level of maturity to really call yourself an adult. And I'm sure we can all agree there's a lot of people that, age wise are legal adults, but are, very insecure, and they have to knock down people to feel, stronger, or blah blah blah. There's just all those dumb little human things that people do. Um, Responsibilities, all these things come together to make that. So yeah, and there's painters that just paint for pleasure, and they just do pretty works, and it doesn't have any, you know, specific profound statement or something like that. They're artists as well, but there's art's kind of tricky in that way. It's really just a huge umbrella statement, and then there's, I would say, more pure art at the center, which would be fine art, and then as you go out, it becomes more commercialized. Design is under the umbrella of art. Someone who designs a book cover, right. It's a kind of art, right? But not like art in the sense of a Mondrian painting, or even Picasso. And I know a lot of people in our sphere don't like Picasso or something, that modernism, etc. But anyway, it's a big discussion. Maybe we should put that on my show of Imperium Art. So yeah, I'd say I really learned to paint though in high school. I was an AP art student in high school, and my teacher said, "What do you want to learn? You get to do pretty much whatever you want." And I said, "Well, I want, I was in like 12th grade, and I'm a senior. I want to go into college a year ahead of everybody else." And he's like, "All right, we're going to do year one fine art training." And there's all these specific mm, techniques that you learn, in year one. You literally learn how to draw in year one. And it's interesting because there's a lot of self-taught artists out there, especially in like comics and stuff. And you can tell it doesn't really, they're missing something. I wouldn't call him a friend, but a guy I'm friendly with and have known for years at like comic book conventions. We're very friendly to each other, blah blah blah. So and he's a self-taught comic book artist. And you just look at his work, and you're like, year after year after year, he won't learn how to draw. He won't take any classes, or, I mean, conceivably you could watch YouTube videos and learn how to do it. It's not that would be hard to do, but it's not impossible if you work hard, right? Um, it's like, I don't want to say you don't need to go to college, but you need an education in the techniques. And he won't do it, and it's taken him ages to get good. And I wouldn't he's not bad now. I wouldn't say that he's bad, right? But there's still certain kind of problems with like his anatomy, or he doesn't understand light, or this or that. And I don't know. It irritates me a little bit. It saddens me a little bit that people just have like a chip on their shoulder, and they won't, do the work. I guess you can't, you know. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Hmm. Yes, I am playing S.L. Weiss. Bill, nice to have you here, Bill Brim. Silvius Leopold Weiss. How did you know that? Are you a classical guitarist? Essentially, I I want to play music during these live streams, but I have to use copyright-free music actually. And I do like this classical stuff. It's very relaxing and enjoyable. But I'd like to play some other cool stuff that is not copyright-free. All right, gang. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, definitely. Oh, you're coming from the anti-woke left, and I really appreciate your thoughts and artwork. Tonda, bring more of your anti-woke left friends with you over here, okay? Because we welcome you. It's a good place to be. No, no, no. I've noticed that. I mean, for starters, Tonda, a guy like me coming up in the art field, it's all progressive left leaning. So I'm very, very familiar with that experience. I snapped out of that years ago. And I wouldn't say I was ever really fully committed to that, but times have changed, people change. Right now, it's just insane. But I'm noticing that since our election was stolen, and we have a crazy senile man illegally occupying the White House, if he's even there physically, um, and then with the media and et cetera, people on the left, like especially classical liberals, are just beginning to get red pilled now. They're going through what a lot of people on the right went through 4 years ago, and I think it's great. I think it's wonderful that people who are just sensible, kind, moral, are recognizing that we're not Nazis over here, and that you can come on over. You know, when I say Nazis, I mean it in a quote sense of the word. That's a pretty big discussion that I'm not going to go into here. But anyway, yeah. So welcome, a resident, not a president. That was a good one, pure nomad. I like that, dude. Can I steal that? Can I steal that? Because it's highly quotable. Okay. Okay. All right, gang. I feel like we've done really good. This is an hour and a half. And thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more to come. I'll be taking commissions if you'd like to commission me an artwork. So just contact me at American Zarathustra at Proton Mail. It's in the chat. And I wish you guys a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care.